welcome back to this Christian Homemaker. My name is Christian, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a kitchen restock. In my past videos, I have shared that I like to make most of our snacks from scratch. I would say about 90% is made from scratch. I make 7 meals a week, and that is because inflation is real right now, as well as we want to take care of our temples that God has given us. So I like to be aware of what is going in our body. I won't say we're always perfect at this, but we do try our best, and we should not live in fear. That used to be something that I did have, is when I was going and being in part of the non-toxic culture, which that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it became more of a fear-mongering for me, and fear is not from the Lord. So I had to take a step back and just trust God, but also do the best that I can to take care of our bodies and our temples for the Lord. So anyways, before we get started in taking you along our kitchen restock for the day, I would love to share a verse with you. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Mark 10:45. Making foods from scratch and doing kitchen restocks and making all of our snacks from scratch and cooking all of our meals is just one way that I love to serve others. And this is me serving my family, and as well as I love to take meals to other families, moms who just had babies, and serve others in my community as well. And it is so important that we do that and we take part in serving others, because it's not about ourselves. It's about doing for the people in our community, whether they are part of the church or not. We are called to love others, and that is one of God's greatest commandments, was to love others. So anyways, in today's kitchen restock, overnight, I put together some English muffin dough. I used Little Spoon Farms recipe that rose on the counter overnight. And then we rolled out the dough this morning and put them on a baking sheet for them to rise for another hour. I'm going to be making some breakfast sandwiches to throw in the freezer for my husband, so he can just have an easy grab and go breakfast sandwich in the morning that he can throw in the microwave, heat it up for a few minutes, and head off to work. So I just wanted to make life easier for him, and when he's up and getting up really early to go and provide for his family. The next thing right here I'm making are some zucchini banana chocolate chip muffins. These are amazing. This is going to be on my blog, and so I will have the link below where you can go and find the recipe there and all the instructions on how to make this. This is not a sourdough edition muffin. I'm sure you can make it. Maybe one day I will try that out. But we are having a harvest full of zucchini in our garden right now, so I thought the perfect way to use up some of that zucchini was to make some yummy zucchini muffins. So I would definitely recommend you giving this recipe a try. Like I said, it's going to be linked down below. Muffins are actually so delicious. By the time this video goes out, I have already made a second batch of these and they're gone again. So that can tell you how good these are. They kind of remind me of, I don't know if you've had like the little bite muffins from the grocery store that are really not good for you. I haven't had them in a long time, but the texture of these muffins just remind me of those from the store-bought kind. So don't, like I said, I'm really excited. I'm launching my blog a little earlier than expected, and these are going to be on it. So if you do give this recipe a try, I would love to hear from you and tell me how you liked them, if you did or you didn't. I would love your honest opinion. After I let these English muffins rise for about an hour, I am putting them into my cast iron skillet. The recipe says to do about 4 each in the skillet and not to crowd the pan, so that is what I'm doing here. And honestly, these came out so good, and I'll be making them again. However, I did kind of make them a little smaller than expected, but they still worked, and we used some as like toast or English muffin toast, I guess you would call it, for our breakfast, as well as I am making those breakfast sandwiches to throw in the freezer. I didn't have any muffin liners, so I just oiled my pan and then just got them out with a butter knife. And these are filled with veggies and fruit to perfection. So yummy, delicious, and a great staple in our house for on the go or for even a breakfast option. For these English muffins, I think the recipe said it would make 8, but I think I cut mine out kind of small where it made like 12 English muffins. I'm only making 8 English muffins, so I'm cutting this sausage into 8 pieces, going ahead and getting that started cooking so that can be applied to the breakfast sandwich in just a bit. Now I'm just adding some cheese to the meat. I don't know how anyone eats an English muffin without cheese. Like, the cheese just makes it. Even though I try to limit my dairy use, it is so hard. I did try to go dairy free for a while, but yeah, it just wasn't really helping what I thought it would help, and so I just started to limit it instead of just consuming it all the time like I used to. But now I'm just making all the eggs. I made 8 eggs. That's gonna go on the English muffins as well. And if my husband wants to add any condiments like mayo or mustard or jelly or whatever you want to add to it later, he can do that. Okay, so now I'm getting my English muffins put together and grabbing some napkins and some plastic wrap, and that is how I'm going to store these English muffins. I wrapped it in the towel first, that way my husband can just throw it in the microwave if he wants with the napkin wrapped, and then I'm wrapping it in the plastic wrap, and then later I'm just going to throw all of them in a little freezer Ziploc bag. will be sharing with you all is I'm going to be making some homemade pickles. And in our garden, we are getting an abundance of cucumbers as well. And so I needed to find some ways we could use up our cucumbers. So this was one thing that I wanted to do. We love pickles around here. So I wanted to try out a recipe. So I'm only going to be doing 1 jar of these pickles because I want to make sure that I like this recipe before we make several jars of pickles. And after posting this video, we have already tried this recipe ourselves after it has fermented a little bit in the jar. And I will say that it's more of a sweet pickle. I will link the recipe below. It was actually really good, but I'm looking for more of like a dill pickle versus a sweet pickle. So if you're really into sweet pickles, this recipe is for you. That I'm making here is some pizza dough that's going to go in the freezer for the week ahead. We are having some pizza this week, and this is actually going to be a recipe that's going on my blog too. It is really delicious. I like to make a sheet pan pizza. We found this little cute restaurant in our town, and they make sheet pan pizza, so that inspired me to do this. I just got to figure out the ratio of flour and how much exactly flour we need to add before I can add that on my blog. So yeah, that is another thing that I'm making there. Now, it is the next day, and that is because I took the rest of the day to go enjoy some time with my family. We went to the water park. We live right across from one, so we always get season passes. So I took a break, and we did that. And now, the next morning, I'm just finishing this kitchen restock video with some homemade oat milk. I try to narrow down how much milk I consume each week due to some chronic illnesses, I guess you would say, going on with me, but I just try not to consume too much dairy. And so one way I do that is by making my own oat milk. I just add 4 cups of water to 1 cup of oats, and I added in 3 dates. Now I did double batch this, but you just pour it in a strainer and wring it out and put it in a jar and stick it in the fridge. The end of today's video. I hope that this gave you some inspiration, and if you enjoyed this kitchen restock, I would love for you to give this video a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next week. Bye.